In this video, I'll be saving a patch from the S-1 to the MIDI Goblin. One of my favorite synthesizer companies, the Roland Corporation, recently came out with this little guy. It sounds great, it looks cool, it has a very catchy name. It's the Roland Aira Compact S-1 Tweek Synth. But it does have some drawbacks. Although it does have quite a few potentiometers to control its parameters, many of its parameters are buried deep within submenus and require pressing combinations of buttons to access them. Furthermore, it has a pretty limited old-school display. This makes editing those parameters that are buried in those submenus a little bit tricky, to say the least. I have no idea what this means. Don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic synthesizer. It sounds amazing, but it does save patches in a manner which is a little bit annoying. You can't really name patches because the display is pretty limited, so rather than that, you save the patches to patch banks on the synthesizer. There's nothing wrong with this manner of saving patches, it does work just fine, but it does open you up to some possible problems down the road. You can forget where you've saved a patch, and you may overwrite a patch that you spent quite some time menu diving to make as a result. The first step, of course, was connecting the Roland to the MIDI Goblin. The S-1 doesn't have 5-pin MIDI out, it has TRS, so I bought a couple of these little doodads. I also added the control change values to a CC nums file on the MIDI Goblin SD card, and then turned on the Roland S-1. Unfortunately, the S-1 doesn't dump its CC parameters on startup. You can dump some of them by holding Shift and pressing manual, but not all of them, so it's not really that useful. This means I'm going to have to initiate all of those parameters by hand first. I don't want to do this every time I start up the synth, so I'm going to save this as a file called template. To test things out, I restarted the S-1. Loaded the template file, and it sounded great. I made a few more patches after that. I saved them with silly names. And to test things out a little bit more, I restarted everything, loaded up some of those silly patches. They sounded good. And well, that's it. Saving patches for the S-1, it does work. It took a little bit of effort, and in the future, I'll have to load that template file before saving new patches. This way the S-1 and the MIDI Goblin will be all synced up and the parameters I save will be correct. When the MIDI Goblin's released, I'll make this template file available to everybody, of course. You don't really need the template file, you can make your own, but it might make things easier. And that's it for this video. Please check out MIDIGoblin.com. Don't forget to sign up for the email list. We'll send you an email when the Kickstarter's about to launch. Goodbye.